Okay, so this is the end of day 5. Technically it's the beginning of day 6 really, because it's very late. Not been the best of days today, because I've just been preparing and cleaning up a lot of small parts, which is for all the carriages which hold the top deck condors and the mount points for the condors on the bottom deck as well. I'll be putting these together tomorrow, which is the quick bit and the enjoyable bit. The cleanup is one of those things when you've cleaned up sort of 300 odd resin components, it takes all day. It's just slow. They're pretty clean castings, but there are just so many of them, it just takes that much time. But I've got literally out of all of this lot, I've got about 10 of them to go, but I just need to go and get some sleep at this point. So tomorrow morning I'll do those 10 and then show you how this lot goes together. Okay, so it's the morning of day 6, feeling a bit more refreshed now, and finally finished preparing all of these. Probably about 15 hours worth of prep work in all of these parts here. This is for the carriages which hold the condors. This is only for the top deck, but on the top deck the condors basically slide out of the hull so the condors can drop straight down. On the bottom deck there's basically a trapdoor that drops, and then they can drop directly from underneath the ship. So the top deck has mount points. These are the mount points for the condors. The ones over here in the bags are for the top deck. They've not been prepped to quite the same level of quality as the ones for the top deck here, because the ones for the top deck are going to be basically, they will stick out of the ship when the condors are out so you can see them up close, so they've needed a lot of prep work doing on them to make sure they were perfect. Essentially there are 4 different designs. You've got 4 different sizes for these, but basically you've got front and back, and then you've got a basically front and back high, front and back low, depending on whether the dropship's going to be holding sabres, sort of gladiuses, tanks, or bears, because bears sit lower in the dropship, so it needs to be a different height. See, the ones for the tanks have got a little concertina thing on here as they drop, whereas the ones for the bears don't so much. They're a lot lower down. So essentially here it goes together like this. So you've got a rear section, then you've got 2 carbon fibre rods on the back there. It's good building material, carbon fibre, not the easiest to work with, but it's very light, it's very rigid, which is why I'm using it here. It's quite affordable these days actually. It's worth considering if you're building anything that needs some structural rigidity in it. They're basically to extend the rear of this in a very lightweight way to give it a bit more rigidity when it comes out of the ship. So then you've got one of these supports that I've been on about, goes underneath there. Then you've got a front section, then you've got another support which sits underneath the front there. Like that, I'm just obviously positioning it roughly. Then you've got another pole, another carbon fibre pole, which will run the entire length of this thing here, and that will be what the part actually mechanically slides on. Condor's about that big, for a scale reference. So there are 50 of these to assemble, which is now the fun part, the quick part and the easy part that I've been looking forward to, having spent probably, 15 hours preparing all of these. I knew this would take a long time. I knew this would be probably the slowest part of the assembly process of the entire ship really. So I'm glad to have got it out the way. So I'm going to get on with putting it together, and I'll check back in when it's done. Okay, so several hours later, I've put all these carriages together. I've got a condor there for scale. And this is only, as I say, for the top deck. So we have 50 of these. So let's have a look at one up close. So there we have the underside. These 4 points here conform to the top of the condor. So they just go on like that. And then they move in and out on the ship, and those are those carbon fibre rods on there which just add a little bit of extra stability at the back end. Stop it from sagging when it comes out of the dropship. So there you go. They're all missing their central carbon pole, which will be what they slide on, but I won't be adding that until after they're painted. So for now I'm going to put these aside and get into the sprues and start building the 100 condors.